Thank you, Dr. Newton. That was a powerful, powerful word. About 2 years ago, Chief McManus and I had a conversation about doing what we're doing today. And things started happening and just life went on, and unfortunately we weren't able to do it, but I'm glad that we're able to do it now. You know, when I first met Chief McManus, he was a bit standoffish. He's a cop. I kind of felt like he was checking me out. After some time, he started to soften a little bit. I remember one drizzly Saturday morning, he and I had to present at a youth event where the coach of the Mexican national soccer team was speaking. That muggy day was very special to me, Chief. We stood outside by his patrol vehicle, and he began to unpack stories about his life. It was a moment when I no longer saw him as the top cop, but as a precious man with a heart to serve our community. We've talked, we've laughed, we worshiped, and we've even mourned together as he lost those who he sent out to serve and protect our community. He has over 40 years of experience in law enforcement and oversees over 2,000 officers and 800 civilians. He is a husband to his lovely wife Lourdes and 3 precious children. It gives me great honor to present to you the police chief of the city of San Antonio, Chief William McManus.
Thank you so much. You know, if you look at this card, take a look at it, the most important thing on it is number 11. But it's all good stuff, but number 11's the best. Let me kind of lead up into why we're here by talking about a few other things that's somewhat related, but not quite on topic. You know, there's a lot of violence, not only in this city and in cities all across the country. And what's happening is just absolutely insane. The violence. Most of it is driven by high-risk behavior. If you're in a gang, are you living a high-risk lifestyle? If you're selling drugs on the street or out of your house, are you engaged in high-risk behavior? If you're making drug deals on Snapchat with someone you have no idea who it is, are you engaged in high-risk behavior? And the answer to those questions, and many others like those questions, is yes, you are. Family violence. You have, for the most part, husbands and boyfriends killing wives and girlfriends. You have parents killing babies. You have people looking at each other in a bar that's perceived as being disrespectful, and you're waited for in the parking lot by someone with a gun. If you stepped on someone's toe, if you spilled a drink on them accidentally, if you looked at a girl with a boyfriend who considered it to be disrespectful, they're waiting for you in the parking lot with a gun, or they'll pull out a gun right there and shoot you. This is absolutely insane, and I don't know how we got here. Our DA will tell you how we got here, and I'm sure he will when he comes up here, but I don't know how we got here. The district attorney and I are doing town hall meetings around the city, and I told Pastor David that I would be happy, as would Nico, to do that town hall meeting with this group, if you are interested. And I think you'll find it very, very interesting. I could talk for an hour on crime, why I believe it occurs, the conditions that exist that make the environment for crime ripe. You know, people used to blame police officers for crime, or at least not stopping it. We respond. We've done a lot in the meantime over the years to try to deter crime, to have social programs, to do police athletic leagues and things like that to help, to reach out and help prevent children from getting engaged in lifestyles that lead to crime. I don't know how much success we're having. We certainly are having not a whole lot of success in some of the things that we've touted success for over the years. For example, how are we doing in the war against drugs? Are we winning? Not by any means. Protection against mass shooters. I'll be very honest with you, very candid with you, and it's not going to make you feel good. The types of incidents that occurred in Sutherland Springs or Sutherland Hills, Las Vegas, you can't prevent them. They've happened in those two situations, and they've happened many, many, many times before that. You can't stop them. The only way you can hope to stop them is if you have intelligence or information that leads you to be able to stop it. But unless you do, you can't. I was on the phone the night of the incident down in Sutherland Hills with the SAC for the FBI. I said, Chris, are you hearing that this is going on down there? And he had not. I just got notified before he did, but the point I'm trying to make is that there was no intelligence floating around that this was going on. The FBI and the police department, we share information all the time on a daily basis. We have a joint terrorism task force where SAPD has members. But unless you have that information, it's not going to stop. Everyone now has security plans, or most everyone. If they don't, they should, to help deal with this type of incident. In Israel, the bulk of their security is outside of the venue. Because once you get inside, it's too late. It's too late. You've got to have a strong point outside before the person gets in. And unless you do, and Israel, they're the experts in all this. They live their lives every day dealing with suicide bombers and those sorts of threats. We need to take a lesson from Israel, and our fortifications need to be outside the venue, preventing people from getting in who would do us harm. I'm going to show you a video here. It's just a few minutes. It talks about active shooters and what you should do in the event of. This is not rocket science. It's almost instinctive. If anyone tries to make it complicated, they're going to confuse you. It's really not. When these things do happen, no matter how much training you have, no matter how much you adhere to the principles on this card, when it happens, I'm going to say a bad word here. When it happens, it all goes to hell. All the best plans go out the window. But you've got to start off with a base. So if you could roll that video.
News 4 and the San Antonio Police Department have joined forces to make this active shooter training video to give you the tools you'll need to increase your chances of survival should you ever find yourself in an active shooter situation. Thankfully, though, most of us never will.
To be clear, this is not an anti-gun video, and by no means is the information in this video fail-proof. Some of the techniques you learn may need to be adapted to certain situations.
Now, the sole purpose of this training video is to help empower you and motivate you to be proactive in developing your own plan.
Know when it's time to run, know where you're going to hide, and if necessary, be prepared to fight.
It's a typical day at work. You're sitting at your desk doing what you always do. And then you hear this. You're confused, shocked, scared. Stay calm, keep your composure, but move. Do not waste time. Trust your gut and go. It's time to run. Help others if you can. And get out of the building any way you can. Look for the closest exit and be aware of alternate exit routes. Once you're outside, call 911 immediately.
We're going to need somebody here quick.
The operator will need as much information as you can give them. The name of the building, the location, how many people may still be inside, how many may be hurt. They'll need suspect information, race, gender, a description of the suspect. Is there more than one shooter? And what kind of weapon they're carrying. And if you see unsuspecting coworkers heading for the door, stop them from going inside. If you are not near an exit and you cannot safely get out of the building, it's time to hide. Get out of the hallways and common areas. Gunmen typically use them as hunting grounds. Find a room and lock the door. Block the door with whatever you can find. A desk, file cabinet, a printer. Turn off the lights, radios, monitors, and silence your cell phone. Do your best to hide behind something big enough that may shield you from bullets. If you or someone with you is bleeding, apply pressure and try to elevate the wound. Help may not arrive until the shooter is stopped. As hard as it may be, don't try to rescue anyone on the other side of that door. You don't know where the shooter is. He could be right up the hallway. You don't want to place anyone else inside this room in any danger. Also, he could be trying to trick you into opening that door by pretending to be someone who needs help. Stay down, stay quiet. Create a sense that no one is inside that room. If there's nowhere to run and nowhere to hide, be prepared to fight. There is strength in numbers. If you're with a group, organize an ambush-style surprise attack and grab anything you can find to hurt the shooter and defend yourself.
Your number one priority should be to do whatever it takes to stop the gunman immediately. If possible, take control of the weapon. If he lets the weapon go or can't control it, you've won more than half the battle. Whatever you decide to do, make sure your actions are swift and decisive. Hesitation can be deadly in a situation like this when seconds count. If you have a concealed handgun license and have your own gun, choose your actions carefully. Make sure no coworkers are behind the shooter or you. You don't want to accidentally shoot someone or have the gunman return fire and hit someone behind you. And protect your weapon. He may fight you for it. Remember, if you do decide to fight, you'll be fighting for your life. Your goal should be to win by any means necessary.
When police arrive, remember, they are looking for someone holding a weapon. Put your hands up. Don't make any sudden moves. If you are a licensed handgun holder, make sure you set your gun down. Step away from it and put your hands up. Make it clear you're not a threat to anyone. You may be searched, even handcuffed by police. Until law enforcement is certain the threat no longer exists, you are to do exactly as they say until you're let out of the building.
Again, these are only guidelines. Some of the techniques you've seen here may need to be modified to better suit your workplace or even your own home.
And one last piece of advice here, create an alert system for employees via social media sites like Twitter and Facebook. If there is an active shooter situation, think about who will be in charge of sending out those alerts.
The bottom line, have an emergency plan in place and practice it often. The odds of you becoming a victim of an active shooter situation are low, but if it does happen, you'll be more prepared.
On behalf of News 4 San Antonio and the San Antonio Police Department, be safe and thanks for watching.
The souls in Sutherland Springs who lost their lives that day didn't have time to think or react. That shooter started before he even got into the church, which, again, doesn't give you a whole lot of time. Anyone who would like me to attend their congregation and speak on this, I'm more than happy to do it. David has my contact information. Please feel free. Contact me directly or go through him. And again, if you would like the DA and I to make a stop at your church or wherever it may be, we're happy to do that. Thanks very much.
Hey iChurch, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as our social media. Hey iChurch, have a great day.